prioritize Draven, but also Kalista has gotten through, and you're going to be playing against one of the best Dravens in the LPL if he is going to slam it. So that is something that we'll be keeping track of either in this game or the mythical Game 5 if we do ending up seeing it, as AL now need to be finding AD junglers here alongside Shanks, and again, Tarzan is a guy that has a champion ocean when it comes to this role.
Could be a carry, could be some more supportive stuff like we saw in previous iterations. A lot of options, as it will be Shanks picking up the Silas. Remember, that was banned away in the second phase of game number 3's draft, so getting ahead of it a little bit, I guess, is Shanks and the rest of AL. Going to be paired alongside a Volibear. Still a little bit of a flex. I think Flandre could potentially have this as an option, and just allowing for more flexibility across the board for anyone's legend.
You think about the top laners that are still currently available, and a lot of them are those AD bruisers. Volibear does a fantastic job up against most of them. We'll see what TES are reaching for. For Cream, one of his most played last year was the Ahri as well. But instead, he reaches for the Azir, a champion that he's been kind of off and on. He definitely improved his Azir within the within the 2024 calendar year. So excited to see what he's able to pull out with this one. Now with the priority through mid, does TES decide to drop an 80 carry here, or are they looking to maybe get their top laner now that they know that this is going to be that Volibear?
We were talking about it in game 1. That's the Urgot getting locked in for 3-6-9. I don't remember if he played it last year, but he has whipped out, I think, in the last 2 years, 2 varying levels of success.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up Urgot real quick on Games of Legends. I remember looking this up just because I was hanging out on the LPL Revival broadcast, and there was someone who was just like, "Guys, I want to see Urgot. Guys, I want to see Urgot." I was like, no one but 369 plays this over here, man, and it's not been good. It's not been looking good for them all season. Yeah, so was only played once last year, or sorry, 3 games played last year by 369, and they were all into Rek'Sai. So
interesting.
And a little bit of a different matchup here. We do have Jax coming in, which we've been talking about flexes. Tarzan, another big Jax enthusiast. As we get into the back end of this draft, I think AL are going to continue to hammer away at those 80 carries. We have seen them reach towards mages. Again, we just saw Hope with the Ziggs. Maybe we even get the Seraphine that we've been picking up every now and then.
It feels like, I'm kind of surprised that both teams decided to kick the bot lane can down the road into the second phase just because of how many options were open for them. And now JackeyLove's going to get punished for it with the Draven and the Caitlyn both taken away. Still the option for that Jinx Kai'Sa trade if we wanted it. It'll be engaged supports taken away from Kyle. That has been what he has exceeded at so far here in this series. Hope locking in the Jinx. We imagine the Kai'Sa as the response here for Jackie.
Could be Kai'Sa, could be Kog'Maw. We did get Kog'Maw Lulu from Pays and missing yesterday, and especially from what they're showing, I think it's fine.
Ooh.
Maybe not the Kog'Maw as we get the Zeri hover, but thinking for TES, what they want from support here, again, all of the engaged supports are really gone at this moment. There's no Alistar, there's no Maokai. I do think Lulu is one of your best picks you can go for when you see so many melees on the opponents. It's just what hyper carry TES want to try to match with.
Will it be the Kog'Maw? Will it be something else like the Zeri? Zeri Lulu, a popular combo back in 2023, has yet to really rise back up into priority since then. We'll see what the final pickup ends up being in response to Hope's Jinx. And then on the other side, what does Kyle want to play? Because this is a very melee-focused composition other than the Jinx. It's going to be a Tristana going in for JackeyLove. A lot of dive, a lot of hard engage available now for top esports.
This is an old school bottom lane. We used to see Tristana Lulu in years past when we were talking about the LPL, and if we want to talk about lane dominance, while usually Lulu can really supplement some of those 80 carries, Tristana is very dangerous, especially with the level 2. So alongside this Lulu, you could be looking at a 2v2 that's very dangerous here for the side of top esports, where AL round out their draft with that Seraphine that we had hinted towards in this draft. So a lot of melees for the Seraphine to be able to empower, and TES are going to be looking to displace at least one member. Kanavi and JackeyLove have a very interesting job this time around, where they have 2 ultimates that can knock members away, push them away from fights, and cause a lot of safety. TES are going to want to be able to play with range, and then look for executes either with the Tristana or this Urgot.
Hey, they've got 3. They got Lee Sin, Azir, and the Tristana to play that disengage.
It's so hard to get on top of them.
We'll say, though, really like the Seraphine from Kyle on top of the 3 melees. Somebody like Flandre, who did opt to take the Jax in this game against the Urgot, is going to be a problem in these 5v5 team fights. And it feels like if this rest of the series was any indication, it is going to come down to some of those fights at the end, later portions of the games. We've gone past 40 minutes in each of the first 3. Will we get that again? And who will come out on top? So far, Anyone's Legends have gotten the better end of things in general, but Top Esports need a big turnaround in a big way if they want to force a Game 5.
I'll be honest, Grapes, I think this is an uphill battle here for Anyone's Legend. They need to be able to catch out Kanavi or even this Urgot for 369. And like you said, 3 different tools, not including the entirety of Lulu's kit. That makes it very difficult for a Sylas, a Volibear, a Jax to get into the back line. So as long as they're able to keep their front line, make sure that they're drawing the battle lines against Anyone's Legend, they're going to have to be coming in from flanks. And we'll see what AL can do to disrupt the flow of battle as we head into Game 4, potentially our last game, or what is going to send us to a Game 5 here. I really hope, for the sake of the hype of this series, I'd love to see it go to Game 5. For my sleep schedule, I would really hope I don't have to cast 2 best-of-5s back-to-back.
Not only 5 games, but potentially like 200 minutes, is that right, of gameplay between these 2
yes.
teams? Like,
there's 1 million. We keep going to 40 minutes with these games. At least JDG last night in Game 4, they made it a 20-minute stop. We had a in and out quick.
Yeah, I mean, the stream started at 1 Pacific, right? It's now already 5 Pacific, and we haven't even started Game 4 just yet, so these games have been dragging on a little bit as we start off with yet another unique level 1. JackeyLove actually potentially caught out. Might have to actually use the flash or the cleanse. Doesn't do it in time. Finally has to flash away. The Sky Splitter doing a little bit to try and slow people down, but that's a big cooldown given away from JackeyLove. He'll be without that flash for the first 5 minutes of the game.
And he was trying to just buffer it, but he gets canceled on that play, so doesn't even have time to recall. It's 1 minute and 30 already. JackeyLove just has to walk in the lane, half HP, no flash here. So fantastic job yet again. AL with the level 1 trying to find an advantage as Flandre with the Counter-Strike makes a big difference early.
And so, looks like both sides were looking for a potential lane swap. Okay, I'm getting dizzy. I'm not gonna lie.
I love how it's also like stabilized cam too, so it's just her in the middle of the screen. Everything.
I know, the camera's moving as she bounces up and down, like to the beat. It was a lot. It was a lot for 8 in the morning without much sleep.
Oh yeah, I guess it is 8 in the morning. I still got darkness outside my window, so
yeah, about to fry some eggs going into Game 5 at this rate. So
your PC might be able to crack eggs on the side of your PC at this point. So early game, however, again we are looking at our 2 junglers, specifically at Tarzan. I think if he can destabilize this early game for TES, that'll be where they'll be able to at least potentially look for things, as this game does get more and more difficult as this game goes on. I will say Shanks has also an important job, as with his ability to steal ultimates, he can also do a bit of repositioning by himself, either with the Azir or the Lee Sin and Tristana.
Saw there Tarzan looking for potentially an invade or a gank early, but nice ward by Kanavi to spot that out quickly. And actually with that knowledge, we go up into the Uva of Tarzan and try to steal it away. He still has his smite, but so does Tarzan. Sky Splitter not going to spot anybody out. That objective is just gone. Nice job from Kanavi and the rest of Top Esports.
Ooh, 369 doing a great. He's been really, really good about making sure that Kanavi has information when he can. So if Kanavi says, hey, I need you to walk in enemy jungle and find where Tarzan is, 369 throws up the 07, walks in, pushes his lane, and Tarzan
look at this.
Walking in over a ward here. 369 cannot move, and in an extended trade, Volibear wins big time.
This feels like the Rage counter invade, where it's like, you took my blue, alright, I'm going to take your red. Well, Kanavi currently has a level advantage, and Cream has inner workings on the mid lane. Tarzan might have to flash away. Whoa! What the?
I'm gonna pretend I didn't see that.
You know, old Urgot ulti, when they would like swap position, that's kind of what happened.
I miss old Urgot, so don't say that to me, okay? That makes me very sad. The fact that that doesn't actually spot out Tarzan is crazy, but I mean, it doesn't matter. He gets spotted out on this ward. There's another ward on the red buff. Thank you to our observers who just wanted to block out the minimap for reasons. Yeah, no flash for Tarzan. That's one of the key things that you're missing now, and not gonna be able to make like a flash Q engage as is Volibear from Tarzan. Oh, Flandre.
And now Kanavi looking for a gank onto Flandre down here on the bottom side. Jump away, nicely done as TES try to go for the flash flip from 369, but just not finding the angle.
And the wave will push back. Flandre should be able to catch this before it hits the turret, even with the TP changes that we talked about at the very beginning of the show. Man, very unfortunate, especially now that 369 no longer has flash. That's one of the really key summoner spells that you need in this matchup, especially as Jax, once he starts to get items, and because you've already TP'd to this wave, 369 needs to make sure that he has a safe time to recall, otherwise he misses out on so many of these minions.
Doing a decent chunk of damage there with shotgun knees, making sure that Flandre is at least decently low, so any threat of a dive probably out the window unless any other support comes through. But the rest of the junglers here, both junglers I should say, for these teams around the top side of the map with the grub spawning in about 30 seconds.
Let's see what the setup here is for AL. Remember, winner of this locks up at the very least a top 2 here in the group. And if you're able to get first in any of the groups, you buy yourself double elimination going into playoffs. Second seeds from every group will be playing in the lower bracket, meaning you only have 1 life in a best of 5 full fearless system. Very dangerous in the LPL, as honestly, it's been great so far to have only best of 5s. We're skipping straight out, no best of 1s, no best of 3s. And it's also a very condensed schedule. Not every team plays against each other here in this first split, so think about it, Grace. I would be so terrified to go into lower bracket and I have to potentially face against AL or TS. That is not great.
That is not the RNG you want to run into for sure. As we turned back to the game, Grub's being started up. Actually, Cream just taking a lot of damage from Hope. Not enough to take him down, but he does have to use the ultimate and dash away. Meanwhile, 1 Grub was picked up by top in the meantime as Kanavi was able to snipe 1 away. That does mean that none of the feet will go over because of these Grub camps, but it looks like both teams still want to fight. AL and Tarzan looking to try and at least make it an even trade so far in the Grub. Jackie Love has the rocket jump away. That is the first Grub secured for AL, but 369 in the middle of everything and might actually just get singled out in 1v4, but Flandre jumps away. It is first blood picked up here for Shanks, and anyone's legends are running away with this team fight. Hope gets his first kill. It is 3-0 around the Grub.
That's the feat of strength. Feat of warfare is immediately gained by AL. And I had some questions because 369 was putting pressure onto Hope, forced him to flash in the mid lane. And I was like, okay, maybe the AD carries are not going to be able to join in on this one, at least from AL's side. But they make a massive team play there. TES are immediately back onto the map and pressuring on this bottom side. But we can take a look at this play. Jackie Love has to jump out. This is tough. There's no mid play here. You don't have your Azir to be able to go for this. And the AP ratio on the Tristan ult is also very, very impactful. So as we see, TES, they don't play their timers. They're not able to play. I think they should have just immediately gone back to the laning phase and tried to push out for some of those turrets. Instead, they get Jinx Gold. They get Shanks very far ahead now. 2-0-1 up against Cream.
And it's that story of the mid lane once again, Hawk, where Shanks on these melee mids have been doing very, very well, even on the Orianna last game, but Cream not having found his footing just yet here in the early stages of this LPL season. And, you know, he was such a prized prospect, picked up from OMG last year, had a good run into the internationals, but now maybe running into a bit of that sophomore slump in a way, and it will be AL continuing their dominance across the Rift. They're going to pick up this first dragon of the game with the Hex deck going their way.
Grapes, that sinking feeling. While TES do have range advantage as the game goes on, I don't think you want to get into a battle with a Seraphine and 3 melees. The ability for Seraphine to kind of bypass all of that range and hit straight into your backline. Shanks being able to steal ultimates, and all it takes is a single kill. and Hope gets those resets. But again, you have so many tools to be able to stop that. We already talked about the ultimates. I think Crisp also with this Lulu, which is such a different look, especially for where we've seen Crisp in years past and coming into this now. He was obviously a very big engage player when we were talking about it last year, but he's really starting to dip into his bag with full Fearless and all the different ranged picks he's picked out so far.
We now see Tarzan down towards the bottom side, scouting things out a little bit. Not a ton to fight for in the next couple of minutes in terms of objectives. And so right now, anyone's Legends, I feel like, are very comfortable just maintaining where things are, farming up, getting their carries closer to these first completed items, because right now they have all of the leverage and they have all the momentum going their way.
Hope is also a lot closer to finishing his first item, but Utah Wild Arrows did get a change on this patch. I'm going to double check what that patch was real quick, just because Utah Wild Arrows has also just been an item that has been extremely terrible. Well, not terrible, but it's just crit itemization's in a weird spot. I'm going to say that
look at this top side of the map, 369 with the Fear Beyond Death on top of him, and will be enough for Kanavi to dash on top and pick up that kill. However, he's stuck between a rock and a hard place, that hard place being the Flame Charm of the Hope. A two-man charm coming through from Kyle, and the Encore says, sing it again, baby, as Hope picks up a second.
Dude, predicts the flash. Crisp flashes straight into the Seraphine ult. JackeyLove, you're all by yourself under this turret, brother. I just don't think this is real. Tarzan can flash. You still have the Volibear ult as well. How many plates can AL get during this push? As even here, Urgot hasn't even recalled. There's no one covering this bottom side. Flandra's going to be able to have alone time with this turret.
It'll take a little bit for him to get there, but that's time desperately needed and desperately desired here for anyone's Legends. They're going to get their third plate down here in the bottom lane, and now even as Crisp respawns and comes back into the top side, not really much places to go as AL are overloading here. They land the stun
here we go.
Onto Crisp. He dies once again, and the teleport's going to come in to make it a 5-man stack for AL. Creed matches a TP of his own to prevent any further dive, but that does mean the full Grub camp will go over to anyone's Legend who are looking poised to run away with this series.
What an insane fight. They just completely try to cut off some of the carries of TES. 369, I mean, yeah, he finds the 1v1, but the entirety of this play turns into Kanavi having to overextend for this play. They don't think that this that Hope is quite here, and these traps make it difficult. He's literally stuck. At one point, he just starts emoting. He's like, all right, cool, I'm dead. And again, the ultimate prediction here, I think after this play is really where it starts to get like breakneck for the side of AL. As with these kills, they crash the wave, they cut TES off from it, and while that's happening, 369, JackeyLove, they're like, okay, well, I want to walk back up. Chris was like, hey guys, I'm back, and then gets chased down, dies again. They get those grubs, so now 5 grubs for this team. And this is starting to turn the fate of what we were talking about from draft. Despite all the range advantage, they need to get to that point in the game. And especially when you are behind, that adds minutes onto your timer as to when you're actually allowed to play the game.
Yeah, Top Esports in a little bit of trouble. Needs some big response right now. Thought they could have found it with Kanavi landing the kick, but Kyle finally will get bursted down. But it will be a 1-for-1 as Hope will pick up the trade. 3-0 and 3. The Wild Arrows completed here for the Jinx. As AL still looking up.
Kanavi just, I'm not gonna lie, it smells of desperation. We're trying to get this kill onto Kyle. We force our own flash. And Tarzan doing a great job. I don't even think you need to actually kill 369 here, although probably can. Now
hey, why not?
Sundered Sky. Wrap it up, Grapes. I think we're having a repeat of our Demacia Cup, brother.
We had such close games for the last like 4 hours. We were being entertained by all this. It would be a shame for it to end this way. We'll see if Top Esports has any sort of response, but just the way their composition is structured, front to back is not going to cut it if they are already this far behind in gold. You can see Hope just miles ahead of anybody. 1.3k ahead of JackeyLove specifically. It's going to be a long time until that Tristan is relevant again.
So the buff to Yuntal Wild Arrows was 5 AD, 10% attack speed, and now costs 3,000 instead of 2,900. Not bad, but definitely started to creep up there. Collector being 60 AD is not bad. And for Utah Wild Arrows, you still have that crit chance that you're scaling. The attack speed's feeling nice as well. So Grid Organization may be back. It's not fully back, but yeah, I don't know, Grapes. This game just feels so weak for TES, and it's like a situation where now you have this Lulu who can empower your carries, but your carries are behind, so Lulu doesn't feel as great. They now are on one item, so if there's ever a chance for them to make a play, it has to be here on this dive. Flandra shows, and TES, they sink right back into the shadows. They're losing Dragon while this is happening.
Yeah, and you know, Shanks is going to be completely fine losing a little bit of his health bar because he knows that nobody can dive on top of him, and he knows that his team is getting things on the other side. Gold lead is only about 2,500, but this is probably the biggest lead that we've seen from either team at this point in the game in terms of the gold department.
They're also going to grab a turret here. All of this gold going over to Hope. He'll finish a second item here before, I think, third Dragon. That's a huge spike. If he gets his second item and suddenly we're looking at TES having to play against this, I don't feel good about their hopes of being able to play the game.
And like, where can they find an answer, right? I mean, it has to be probably Cream, who, again, we have said not having the best series so far against AL. Shanks kind of having his number so far, especially here in this game 4 on the Silas. Right now, just at the Leandry's spike, compared to a full Merc Treads and an additional Fiendish Codex on top of his opponent. So, still a long time until we find anything. I think it's going to be up to Kanavi. Try to find some picks. Try to at least get some gold back into your carry pockets.
It's all you have to do as Lee Sin. I know I've been kind of doomer about TES's chances in this game, but honestly, it really does just take one shuffle, one Lee Sin kick to find the enemies in AL and disrupt this front line. But it's just going to get harder and harder for them as gold is getting difficult to come by. You're also talking about the experience differential. Hope is almost finished with his Runons here. Riftail has spawned 5 grubs here for AL, and I would love to see them contest for this objective. Flandra does have his DP. 369 doesn't, so he has to immediately be here if they want to contest.
Yeah, immediately on spawn goes Kanavi to the Rift Herald. This could be their opportunity to get something back on the board. They're down about 3,000 gold, but here comes a teleport. Flandre going to join the fray. And it looks like Top Esports could be collapsed upon just a little bit. Here comes Cream. Has the flash. Has the ultimate. Can he make a play? Look at Shanks on the flank.
They got it!
And big charm coming through, and Hope steals away all of the Herald as well. Shuffle is big. Is it enough damage though? No, it is not. Look at Hope. Just full HP, ripping apart everybody on Top Esports. They get a huge fight. 4 kills already in their favor, and Crisp is on the wrong side of the map.
It's looking doomed. TES, it's been great, it's been good, but it hasn't been all there for them. Chris is going to do the runaround on Tarzan. Tarzan's like, where the hell did this Lulu go? Chris is like, keep going. Oh, he doesn't fully peek himself into the bush. I don't think it matters.
It's not worth this.
Great flash from Hope, by the way. He dodges out on Cream's Azir shuffle while it finds the rest of AL. It does not find the crucial carries of anyone's Legends. And so now they take a top tier 1, they take the mid tier 1, they had the Herald crash again, so this mid tier 2 is almost down. And look in this replay, I love with how much fight we get from AL. They walk straight into them, great engagement with Tarzan and Kyle. And while Shanks is just lifting everybody up using the Lulu ultimate on himself, Hope is just free firing straight into this backline.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great ulti for Cream if, you know, he didn't shuffle through to go straight into his Tristana, who just...
you know, big if true. Oh, Shanks.
Meanwhile,
Shanks,
that's the better
Shanks?
Shurima shuffle right there. Shanks picking up the 1v1 over his mid lane opponent. Remember, Cream got the better end of things to determine side select, but so far, Shanks doing his best here in the real games where it matters most.
You know, I'm not gonna lie. I would say that I think that Shanks is probably, or Cream is a better Renekton than Shanks is a better Alistar. So honestly, that makes sense.
That is true. Hey, he could come away with this.
That feels like a lifetime
ago.
I'm not gonna lie. That feels so long ago that we were like, maybe Alistar is gonna be tech for the 1v1. We're gonna talk about that right now. There's also not a lot going on in this game. 7,000 gold at 18 minutes. I know yesterday for JDG versus OMG, they made it look quick. They finished it up in less than 20, but this game has been so one-sided, and it comes down to a lot of the execution that we've been seeing, and I think the solo lane especially, as 369, man,
Kanavi, he's trying his best, man. He's looking for some sort of kill. Kyle could be a target. He already got hit by the charm. No ultimate available. But Tarzan is here to body block his support. Shanks dashing away. Now going into 1v2 finally. Jackie Wolf picks up a big shutdown on Kanavi. Gets Kyle as well. That is a start, but there is still so much more work to do.
Shanks is literally just throwing his body at Tristana for a few 15 seconds there. The entire fight that's going on towards top side, Shanks is doing all the different abscond abduct combos versus Tristana, and he's like, Jackie Love's like, dude, if I die to this guy, just AD carry is just not balanced. I guess this roll is just looking pretty weak.
Oh, don't look at Flandra's. Just don't look at it.
You know, I would have the energy to be mad about it. I would have the energy to be mad about it, but it's game 4. It's 5 a.m. At least it's not Jace, but like I feel like at that point I'm just bargaining with myself. So yeah, I'm just not gonna look at it. This is something that's been happening in LCK as well. So again, the tank items are just busted.
Taking a look here, Tarzan, or sorry, Kanavi I should say, doing his best to find something. On the other side, Shanks limit testing a little bit, I guess we could say.
Literally, look at this. He's doing all the combos on Jackie Love. It doesn't matter. Kanavi's Lee Sin, I will say, has been clean this game, mechanically speaking. Just where it happens hasn't been the greatest, right? Like the fact that 369 does go down. All of AL were caught napping, half HP already on this Otacon. Can AL get here in time? They're looking to be fighting after the revives.
Okay, I mean, this is a good way to potentially flip the game. They actually just get there first. All of a sudden, top Esports could be right back into this game. They pick up the Otacon. They have the respawns in their hands, and they could just send themselves straight towards the tower, pick up an objective bounty, throw their lives away because they know that they can end up right back in spawn by the time any other objectives do spawn. They get the tier 1 in the top side, looking for this tier 2 now with just a couple of minions here to guide them.
They can shred these turrets, and they have the turret bounties as well, so there's a lot of gold being slingshot back into TES. Yeah, Hope is hitting on this mid-wave. 5 grubs. All that AL needs to do is somehow be able to stop them. Tristana's getting engaged upon. We see Jackie Love getting a little frisky with it. Has to be able to jump over. Inhibitor open, wait, he's going to cancel the backs.
369 is back, but that is it. And now it can be a potential numbers advantage on the other side for anyone's Legends. Kareem has to use the shuffle to get Flandre away as he puts up the Sun Disc as well.
Is Hope dead though? Does he get out of here in time? So he's going to call his TP. He's going to do his recall. Tristana's coming. If she jumps over, they're looking for him.
Just spotted him. No, he's out.
Just barely is able to escape underneath the eye of TES.
That is a highway robbery right there. Thought that it was going to be good for top Esports. They pick up the Otacon to get an objective bounty on the top lane, but they have to lose an inhibitor as a response on the other side. Hope now has an Infinity Edge and a Runons. Very, very powerful Jinx, who, again, Hope really starting to play off like one of the best ADCs in the LPL.
You know, it was so funny in Demacia Cup, there was one chatter, I forgot what their account was, but they said that Hope was the best AD carry, or one of the best AD carries in the LPL. Rightfully so at that time. I think maybe we were either in groups or in quarterfinals. Everybody in Twitch chat spammed XDD at them. And, you know, I'll be honest, I did too, because I'm a big Hope lover. I've been on very public on this broadcast saying I love Hope. I've loved to see him, especially on that JDG 2022 Worlds run. But he just hasn't really been the same ever since. Yeah. Ever since he got dropped off of that roster, he hasn't had the same placements, the same kind of results. But here on this AL roster, being able to play with Kyle from last year, and now being able to have Tarzan and Flandre, it feels like it is all coming together. And that plot armor that we mentioned all the way in Game 1, it just feels inevitable. Like AL, they can make mistakes in series, but they can always rely on some of these carries, whether it's Tarzan, Shanks, or Hope. And even Kyle on Engage, Flandre with his interesting champion pool, everything seems to have come together for kind of a perfect storm of a team.
Things working really well, especially with these new additions coming in. Again, the core of this bottom side finished top 6 in the LPL with a completely different top jungle. Now they bring in a world champion and one of the best junglers in LPL history along their side. things are definitely looking up here for AL. Still have some work to do though, as it looks like 369 actually going to cash in on another objective bounty with AL completely focused on the top side of the map.
Uh-oh.
Going to be the outer turret picked up. Question
He's
is
out.
now, will he be able to escape?
Oh, no, he's not!
Shanks cancels the teleport with the abscond abduct, and now it is the Wild Goose chase. It will begin, and it will not last for very long. 369 will go down to Shanks.
All of TES, they were like, okay, maybe we can reinforce this, but that's a teleport down for 369. He's also dead for 40 seconds. And they're just all in this bottom side. Are they going to try and make this play? It's Shanks by himself
look at
here.
Kanavi finding the kick onto Shanks, forcing the stopwatch out of him. Flandre is tanky, but doesn't do a lot of damage. And that is Jackie Love picking up one of the main carries of AL. So now Shanks will be dead for the next 40+ seconds. Top Esports clawing and kicking their way towards staying alive here in this series.
Silas just face-checking the brush. Great vision coming in from TES means that they don't go quietly into the night. And it seems like AL, 10 seconds before this Baron spawns, they want to take this objective. I mean, there's Dragon. There's an Infernal Soul open. I don't know if this is worth it here. You're trading Soul for this objective? I mean, sure, saying, look, we can play for more Dragons. They're sending over the Jinx ultimate. That's not stealing anything. Got 5 grubs. Maybe AL can look for a fight afterwards and push to end the game. There is an open inhibitor.
Yeah, maybe top don't want to do anything too risky because the game could end. But it looks like they do want to go for a fight. It will be a numbers advantage for them until Shanks arrives. Baron finally secured. Flandre has to flash away. They land the Fear Beyond Death. That's going to slow them out pretty well. Jackie
nice
up
job.
by the Flame Choppers. Really good spacing opened up here by Hope. And now Shanks has arrived. And
oh no, Hope!
Be anyone's Legends coming through and wiping the floor with Top Esports. They go 5-0 in the fight. They get the Baron, and they will get the game, and they will get the series win.
Long death timers, and Kanavi got into the back line, but it just doesn't matter. Anyone's Legend, make it happen. They have a repeat of the Demacia Cup Grand Finals, and they're going to be moving up in this group 2-0.
People were wondering, was that win in the Demacia Cup? Was it a fluke? Was it a myth? No, it was a legend being born. Anyone's Legends take down Top Esports 3-1 and move up to 2-0 in the group stage.
6-1 is their overall game score. It'll take a massive